One of the biggest mistakes I see in with people who are looking to lose weight or to change their shape or even just to improve their body image is that we keep our mind keeps telling us that we just haven't found the right program, the right system. Maybe it's just keto, or maybe it's just the Whole30, or maybe it's just a detox that I need, or maybe it's just a cleanse that I need, right? And that partially comes from the barrage of information that we get hit with in, all the places that I'm streaming right now. So, Facebook and Instagram and out there in the media is sort of, if you just do this, then this will happen, right? And I think what that creates is a pattern of us not actually looking at ourselves and who we are in our day-to-day life. So here's how this plays out. You get frustrated, you're unhappy with your body or your weight, and you get into this place of a motivation wave. And that usually comes from a place of pain, right? I'm so frustrated and tired of myself and tired of feeling this way that it creates a motivation wave for us to find something new, find something different, right? And from that motivation wave, that wave of desire, that wave of motivation that builds really strongly, we go out and look for a solution, right? And if there's good marketing or if there's good messaging about that solution, it makes us feel better. It makes us feel hope. It makes us feel confident that that solution will be the thing that makes us feel better long-term, right? And so we go out and we buy the thing and we put the thing onto ourselves and we say, okay, surely when I have put this thing onto myself, I will change. Things will be different, right? But what we don't take into account is who we are being day to day, what our current habits and patterns are, the type of person that we are in relationship to food and food choices or exercise and exercise choices. And we go out and we essentially put this Band-Aid on the wound, right? We've got this flesh wound and it's bleeding everywhere. And we essentially go out and we put a Band-Aid on it. And we go, whew, I've put a Band-Aid on this thing. Certainly that will make me change. That will make me feel better. Let me bring it down into a more practical example. Let's say you are somebody who consistently overeats at night, or you consistently overeat when you go out on the weekends, or you have a really bustling, joyful social life, and you consistently overeat when you are out with your friends, or you white knuckle it through the week, and then on the weekends you engage in the what the heck response, or you severely restrict yourself and then end up binge eating. Any number of these things. This is a pattern of behavior in response to an internal prompt. Okay. So when you go out and you choose Whole30 or keto, and I'm not digging on or dogging on any of those programs, any of the programs I'll mention, when you go out and you choose a program to put on over all of those issues, it doesn't address the reasons why you were doing those things to begin with. So just because you go out and decide that you're going to do the January Whole30, that doesn't take away that you are a person who restricts and then binges, or a person who overeats when they go out, or a person who overeats at night, or a person who gets up in the middle of the night and eats, right? Just because we have gone out and chosen a program doesn't take into account the type of person that we're being day to day, right? And even worse, what ends up happening is that we go out and we choose the program and we hear about all the people who've been successful on the program. We've ignored who we're being in our habits and behaviors and patterns of the person that we are. And when we aren't successful in the program, because we inevitably go back to the habits and behaviors and the patterns that we are, which I'll talk about in a second, then we think there's something wrong with us, right? Then we turn the frustration and the lack of success inward, and we say, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why am I not successful and everybody else is, right? So it's kind of a double whammy there. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this today is because many, many people do this around this time of year, right? There's all this hype about new year, new you, do it differently, become a different person, all of that kind of stuff. Just try my shake and do this detox and try this diet and eliminate this food source and all this kind of stuff. And then all will be well. Many, many people go through this time of year, right? So I think it's really important to address it. I'm going to address two more things, hopefully in order. The way we go about choosing a program that is correct for us is usually exactly backwards. And that is that we ignore who we are and what we do day to day and our lives and the habits that we engage in and the patterns and the behaviors that we engage in. And we go out and we find a program to put on top of us. That is backwards. Once we address who we are, once we address the cause of the symptom, eating is almost always a symptom, right? And if we don't address the cause of the symptom, then it doesn't matter what program we choose, we will be, inevitably we're sort of destined for, I don't want to use the word failure because that's a little dramatic, but we're destined for it not to work for us. So we go out and we pick a new program, which is not addressing the symptom. If we address the symptom first, if we address the cause, if we address who we're being, if we address our patterns, if we address the unresolved emotional issues, if we address the energetic patterns that take us one way versus the other, if we do all of those things first, and we find ourselves in a place of wholeness and completion first, and then we go out and choose the program that supports that wholeness and completion, well, now we have a recipe for that program being successful. If we do it the other way around, which is what most people are doing, is I'm going to go out and find the program and that will make me feel better, we are destined to be more frustrated. We are destined to not be successful, okay? So the idea is that we have to fix the symptoms first. We have to fix the reasons why we're eating first, or the patterns of eating first, or the behaviors of eating first, right? It doesn't always have to be this sort of a deep-seated emotional issue, but I'll be honest with you, more often than not, there is. And it doesn't have to be a major capital T trauma. It can be a pattern of unresolved little traumas or little issues or little emotional hurts over time that create a pattern of behavior. But we do have to address the underlying cause of the symptom. Eating is the symptom, right? So that's number one. The other thing is, I mentioned earlier that while many people around this time of year are going out and choosing a program and saying, oh, I'm going to do the January Whole30, or I'm going to do keto this year, or, I'm going to go back to cutting out all sugar this year. And again, none of those things are bad. Those things very well may work for you. But if you don't address those habits and patterns, just choosing keto is not going to make you stop overeating at night. It's just you'll overeat keto at night, right? And if you stop and think about it for a minute, I think that settles in, it makes sense. You would go, oh yeah, that's not going to make me stop overeating with my friends or overeating at night or, eating in reaction to a bad day. I'm just going to overeat keto in reaction to those things, right? Or overeat Whole30 in reaction to those things. A lot of people join programs like that, or, detoxes like that, or 6 weeks, or the month on Whole30, or whatever, and rely on their motivation wave that I was just talking about to get them through the 30 days. And sometimes you will get through the 30 days, right? You're relying on this burst of motivation to help you get through it. But here's the other piece that I wanted to address, is that our body will always take us back to homeostasis. Our body will always take us back to what it's comfortable with, to what it knows. And even if what it knows is not in our best interest cognitively, it knows that this pattern of binge eating or overeating at night or eating in response to emotional reactions, that has kept your heart beating and your blood pumping up until this point. So to your body, that's safety. That's homeostasis. And so your body is always going to keep pulling you back to homeostasis. That's its job. That's how it keeps us alive, right? It's how our hormones function. It's how our blood pumps through our organs. It's how we know how to move our hands and bend our knees and elbows. It's just homeostasis, automaticity is what keeps the body going. And so if it has interpreted your behaviors, even if you think that they're bad and they're not good for you, as safety and security, it's going to always pull you back to those behaviors. So it's why we ride this motivation wave up and we make decisions. Okay, I'm going to start this program and do this thing, right? When I'm in this place of frustration and pain. And I'm hoping that that motivation wave is going to carry me all the way through. That motivation wave dips and waxes and wanes. And I'm sure you felt this before. You were really, really excited and motivated to start a new program. And then 3 weeks later, you can't even remember why you thought it was a good idea to start it in the first place, right? Because that motivation wave wanes and your homeostasis emerges. Who you are, your patterns, your beliefs, your thoughts, your identity emerges, comes back to the surface. Because to the brain, that's efficiency. It doesn't have to think too much about that. That's just who you are, right? That's who it knows you to be. That's what's easiest to be. So it pulls you back to that because it's energetically efficient that way. The brain doesn't have to do too much thinking or understanding to pull you back to your same patterns of behaviors. So because the brain and the body like homeostasis, it so quickly and easily pulls us back to that natural state that it knows and is familiar with. Okay, if I have gotten you all spun up and confused, let me kind of boil it back down to simplicity, which is, if you are feeling unhappy in your weight or your body image or the way you feel about your body, and from that place you go out and you create a solution, and you have not done the sort of internal work at understanding your habits of behavior with your body, the way you talk to your body, the way that you believe, what you feel about your body, whether or not you believe you can lose weight or whether or not you believe you can be healthy or happy or any of those things. If you have not done sort of the excavation work to understand the type of person that you're being, going out and choosing a program will inevitably bring you back to the same patterns of behavior of who you were before. In other words, if you haven't addressed the symptom of eating, you will go back to that symptom because it's what the brain and body knows. And so the way to choose a program that is healthy for you and right for you is to do the internal work first, is to examine your patterns, thoughts, beliefs, and identities about food in your body. Do that work first. And then from there, when you feel like you're in alignment and you understand things in a, sort of in a different energetic way, then you can go out and find the program that is a match for that alignment. Because once you're a match for that alignment, now your body believes that that program is homeostasis, right? That thinking, believing, and behaving in a way that's in alignment is homeostasis. That is what's going to keep you safe and healthy. That is what's going to keep you safe and alive. And then you end up engaging in that program much more naturally. And ultimately, all of my clients, that's what they want to get to, is this place where, eating and moving feels natural, feels good for them, just feels like alignment. But if we choose the program first and we don't do the alignment work, then you end up in this cycle of frustration with each program that you have tried.